It's been one of those dreams many gamers have had since the beginning of gaming, to be able to explore an infinite universe of completely different planets, being able to fly seamlessly from one to another. Or maybe you're like me and you didn't realise you needed this in your life so bad, until the announcement came a few years ago. Back in the very first announcement trailer of 2013, Hello Games showed an extremely impressive video showing off colourful planets, stylish ships, crazy animal species, and of course seamless transition from planet to space. Fast forward to August 16 after a few delays, and the game with basically infinite universe is upon us. No Man's Sky is a space exploration game, and you are a tiny part of a universe filled with 18 quintillion planets, and it's your goal to get to the centre. Along the way you can acquire new ships and install modifications to your exosuit, all while meeting and interacting with new alien species, discovering new animal species, and visiting a wide variety of different planets. And that's basically all there is to it. I could end this review right here. The game sounds great, right? Well, not really. Well, first, let's start with what the game does right. The music, it's quite nice. Okay, now the bad news. The best time I had with this game was within the first few days, when I would ask myself, how can I ever get bored of discovering new planets? It's such a great feeling, you know. I was literally staying up until the early hours every night thinking, okay, I'll just get this next part to upgrade my hyperdrive and then I'll finish. And before you know it, I've collected every blueprint in the game. Now, blueprints tell you everything you need to know about installing a cool new upgrade to your ship, exosuit, or mining tool. For example, you can upgrade your suit's ability to withstand high radiation or toxicity on the planets with those specific weather patterns. You can upgrade your bullets to automatically find and hit a target, which is basically a must because the combat in this game is crap, but I will discuss this more later on. And you can install a new beam, for example, onto your ship to help take down those annoying space pirates. The problems with this game begin when you start to realise that no matter how many different combinations of arms, legs and bodies an animal can have, no matter how many combinations of weather, rocky hills and lack of foliage a planet can have, no matter how many variations of wings, colours and cockpits a ship can have, they're all functionally the same. Animals all make the same stupid squawk, walking around aimlessly eating grass that's clearly not there. The ships all feel the same, they fly at the same speed, they can have the same upgrades installed in them, they handle exactly the same. There might be different styles, but it's purely cosmetic. The planets all have the same looking cave systems with the same resources in them. They have the occasional storm, and like I mentioned earlier, a severe lack of anything nice to look at. No trees, no grass, perhaps nothing alive whatsoever. Well, this is not completely true. If your experience is like mine, you'll probably stumble across one beautiful planet. I was at a point in the game where I just desperately wanted to be on a planet full of luscious vegetation, so I googled the problem. I soon found that there are actually different types of stars, each with a different colour. I was at a point in the game where I just desperately wanted to be on a planet full of luscious vegetation, so I googled the problem. I soon found that there are actually different types of stars, each with a different colour, and soon I knew that I wanted to travel to a blue star. Apparently in a blue star you can find planets with more rare resources, lots of vegetation, bigger animals, things like that. No Man's Sky constantly let me down time after time, delivering the same planet I felt like I'd visited a million times before. What, so there's emerald on this planet? Wow, yes, it's extremely valuable when trading in the galactic market, but I found a ton of emerald on my first ever planet. Before I even got my first ship up and running, I found emerald. So I travelled to another one, and I was let down again by seeing the most boring planets, browns and yellows, huge plains of nothing. It was especially annoying considering the fact that I had spent a lot of time upgrading my hyperdrive as I mentioned earlier, having to search for rare materials and buy expensive components, only to then realise that the colours of the stars really make no difference. If you wanted to, you could fully upgrade your ship, tool and exosuit before leaving the first system, and with that, the motivation to carry on is wiped away. There are also words to learn at things called knowledge stones and monoliths, and these make it easier to understand what aliens say to you when you greet them. There are 3 alien species, all with different languages, but you never get to have a conversation with an alien. You just listen to what he says, respond, and he'll give you something that you've probably already got. The whole experience of meeting alien species is so two-dimensional that it gets boring super quick, and in fact the main reason I kept collecting words was to unlock the trophies. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, the combat. We were promised by head developer of No Man's Sky and professional games conference appearance guy Sean Murray that we will see Sentinels, a kind of patrolling robot taking care of the planet, in packs. That isn't true. You see them alone wandering the plains waiting for something to happen. If you take a rare object, they might attack you, or they might attack you on sight anyway if you're on a hostile planet. At which time you aim and shoot, they die, threat goes away. They're also incredibly stupid. Sometimes you will stumble across outposts and other buildings secured by a steel door, and you have to break this door to get in. Doing this alerts the Sentinels. All you need to do at this point is let them shoot you because their damage is nothing to write home about, and once you're into the building they stop being hostile and walk away. The space battles also lack anything exciting. They're actually just really annoying. Every now and then, the space pirates will scan space for valuable loot and they'll find you, at which point you're stuck in a horrible space fight, struggling with your horribly sluggish ships. A few well-timed hits dispatch the enemies and that's it. You'll receive a message like your standing with the aliens has increased, but really this means nothing. Another gripe with the game is that there is no multiplayer. Now, I understand that it would probably be difficult, if not almost impossible, to find your friends amongst the stars, but it has so happened that a few people have stumbled across planets that their friends have discovered and decided to meet up, only to realise that they cannot see each other, and for one person it might be day, while for the other person it might be night. Not a big deal though, right? Well, what has annoyed gamers most about this is the fact that the fantastic Mr. Murray said you would be able to see your friends. Just another lie that Hello Games have told its exciting customers. So, I've compiled a list of just some of the things we were promised but not given, courtesy of a fantastic website called onemanslie.info, which uses information originally from a Reddit post which has now been deleted along with its creator. So the list is something like this. Being able to land on asteroids, giant fleets of ships, faction allegiance with significance, freighters battling in atmosphere, ringed planets, sand planets, large worm snake-like creatures on said sand planets, planets orbiting around the sun, different ship classes, naming ships, a planet's resources depend on distance from sun, crafting has complexity, finding elements by checking galactic map, large creatures affecting the landscape, very large structures, crashed freighters, portals, sentinels in large packs, maintaining wanted level indoors, being able to see and play with other players, and listen to radio chatter. And that's not even the whole list. The angry backlash from even angrier gamers has been something quite entertaining, and at the same time incredibly infuriating, as we have clearly been sold something and got something else. Now, by no means did I always think this was a bad game. I just thought that it was going to be something different. I really did enjoy my first few days, but after that it became the same cycle of crafting warp cells, the things you use to warp to other systems, landing on a planet, refueling, and literally leaving the samey system without as much as a glance to anything it had to offer, because I knew that no matter how infinite someone can call this game, in a handful of hours you can see all the game has to offer. And when you get to that point, you'll feel incredibly disheartened. If you want my advice, don't buy this game. If you're one of the people who doesn't care about all of the developer lies, or you weren't caught up in all the hype, then still I would give you the same advice. You're going to get bored, and you probably won't even reach the center because there's nothing driving you forward, making you want to carry on. It's an indie game with the price of a AAA game. Seriously, it should have been marketed at $15.99 or something like that. And when you see the game at that price, it might be worth a buy, because at which time it's possible that a few DLC packs and patches might have been released apparently for free. But hey, Sean Murray said that, so who really knows? I'm going to end this ranty review with a quote that is on the same website as where I got the list from. Okay, it says, "The most recent promo material from July, the 4 Pillars videos, released just a month before launch, are all using new footage from that same old build of the game that very clearly does not represent the one people can buy. That footage is still being used to sell the game even now."